What's up, guys? My name is Jerry, and today's video is going to be on the Detroit Pistons, and we're going to be talking about how Cade Cunningham is becoming a superstar, and we're going to jump right into the video. Now, the first thing I want to say is that I predicted that Cade Cunningham would have a great second year, and that's what he is doing so far. And I must admit that he did not get off to a great start this season. He got off to a bit of a rough start, and even though it was a rough start for Cade Cunningham, I wouldn't say that he was struggling. I think what it was is with the Detroit Pistons getting new players like Jaden Ivey, Bojan Bogdanovic. Jaden Ivey is the 5th overall pick, so he definitely has some talent. And then Bojan Bogdanovic is an established NBA veteran who's been helping contribute to a playoff team over the last 3 or 4 years. So I think we're adding two guys of that magnitude. Cade Cunningham was trying to find the correct rhythm and flow for this offense, and I think he was a bit too passive the first couple of games trying to get those guys involved. But after he saw that that wasn't really working for the Detroit Pistons and their offense, he started to put his offensive game first, and he started to get a lot more aggressive. And since Cade has started to become more aggressive, it has paid dividends for him. If we look at Cade Cunningham over his last 4 games, he is putting up some crazy numbers. He's putting up 28 points per game, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and he's also doing this while shooting 49% from the field. So those are some big time numbers, and if Cade Cunningham can keep this up for the entire season, not only will he be an all-star season, but he would be getting considered from the All-NBA team. Now, coming into this season, I had some very high expectations for Cade Cunningham. I thought he was going to have a big year. I had him averaging at least 25-5, and definitely with the way he's playing right now, looking at him over these last 4 or 5 games, he's definitely going to be in that 25-5 range. So really loving what I'm seeing from Cade Cunningham, and I think with the way he's playing, taking his time, picking his spots, and being aggressive, he's on his way to superstardom. And what makes Cade Cunningham so great, and why I love watching him play, and it really reminds me of guys like Luka Doncic, LeBron James. These guys and Cade Cunningham, they just can control the tempo of a basketball game, and they're always in control of the tempo and the pace of themselves. Watching Cade Cunningham, no matter who's defending him, if they double teaming or trapping him, you can't slow up or speed down his game. And over these last stretch, the Detroit Pistons have played against some pretty solid defensive teams. The Milwaukee Bucks, one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. The Golden State Warriors have a great defensive scheme. The Atlanta Hawks have some rim protectors and ball stoppers on their team, DeJounte Murray and DeAndre Hunter. So he's played a lot of solid defensive teams over these last 4 or 5 games, and Cade Cunningham was able to give all of these teams buckets. So I love the pace that Cade Cunningham plays with, because he is always in control of the game on the offensive side of the ball. And another thing that you have to love about Cade Cunningham, and this is another thing that does not have to do with his skill set, this is right here is an intangible, but he has great size. Now, Cade Cunningham stands at 6'6", 6'7", somewhere around 220 pounds. I know when he got drafted, he was weighed in at 220, and then this offseason, he said he put on 10 pounds of muscle, so he might be somewhere in that 225, 230 range, but he just has great size for the point guard position. And what I love about Cade Cunningham and the great skill set that he has is that he generates so many mismatch issues, because if you put a smaller player on Cade Cunningham, and watching him in college, watching him in his rookie year and so far this season, he can take a smaller guy and he can go down to the post and he can get a bucket from the post position. So I love that mismatch right there that he generates. And then it's the same thing with a bigger player. You put a bigger, stronger player on Cade Cunningham, and this is the strange thing about Cade. Cade is not very athletic. He's not lightning fast at all, but what he is, and this is why he reminds me of Luka Doncic. Neither one of these guys have supreme athleticism, but they both have great size, and they both are shifty. Cade Cunningham, he has a great handle on the basketball. He knows how to break a defender down with any dribble move, the between the legs, the crossover, the in and out, the hezzy. He has it all. So he uses those dribble moves to get to his spot in the mid-range, or he can get all the way to the rim. So I think Cade Cunningham with the size that he possesses, it allows him to create so many mismatches, and it's one of the many things that makes him so special. So we talked about the great size that Cade Cunningham possesses, and we also talk about the great pace and the great tempo that he plays the game of basketball with. And another thing that makes Cade Cunningham special is that he's just good at the game of basketball. He is a very skilled basketball player. Now, we look at him offensively, it's really hard to find a weakness in his game. He is a very confident three-level scorer. He can knock down that three-point shot off the catch, off the dribble, it does not matter, and he is great in the mid-range area. So far this season, he is amongst the some of the best mid-range shooters in the NBA. He's taken a lot of mid-range shots, and he's knocking down over 50% of them. So he's getting really lethal in that mid-range area, and then he's a great finisher around the rim. And what I love about Cade Cunningham is that he attacks that rim relentlessly, and he gets hacked a lot, but the refs are still not giving him calls. But every play, he's still putting pressure on those rim protectors. And there was one game against the Atlanta Hawks. This came at the end. He dunked it on the center. He got fouled really hard, and the refs still didn't give him a call. So he's still, even though he's still earning his respect from those refs, he's still attacking the rim. But he can finish in so many different ways. He can finish through contact. He can finish with both hands. He can make the acrobatic layups. He can get up and punch it on you. He has the floater. He can do just about anything around the rim. So offensively, as a scorer, Cade Cunningham is gifted, and we haven't even brought up his playmaking abilities yet. He's also just as good as a scorer that he is. He's also just as good as a playmaker, and I love watching him operate out of the pick and roll because it really gives him the opportunity to dissect defenses. And this is the thing with Cade Cunningham, and this is why I think he is the ultimate pick and roll player, because once he's running that two-man game and he starts to light you up and the defense starts to react to him differently and they're trying to take the ball out of his hands, he does a great job of processing the game. He makes great reads, and he's able to hit his teammates, whether it's the other guy on the other end of the two-man rolling hard to the rim, or if it's a shooter being left wide open in the corner from rotations, or if it's a guy making the right read and cutting. Cade Cunningham, 9 times out of 10, he's going to make the correct read. So I think Cade Cunningham, he's the complete offensive player, great passer, great scorer, and he has a high basketball IQ. And Cade Cunningham, he's not a lazy basketball player. He's also locked in on the defensive side of the ball. He plays great help defense, and he also plays great on-ball defense. So what I'm seeing with Cade over these last 4 or 5 games, I think he's going to be a superstar in the NBA one day. And I'm not sampling this off just these 5 games. What I saw from him in his rookie year off the second half of the season, I'm like, we got somebody special with Cade Cunningham. And then these last 4 or 5 games, the performances he put on in those, that just solidified it for me. I just know the Detroit Pistons, they have themselves a star. So that's going to be it for this video. Just want to bring up how great Cade Cunningham has been playing. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment down below if you agree or disagree, and then subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man. And that's curtains.